what's going on here? This ain't no way to start a new era of WCW wrestling. Give me a camera. Put on that new music that I brought in. I'm ready. WCW's ready. Let's fire right over to camera 2 to my buddy, Eric Cy Sperling Bischoff.
Hello, everybody. And from the studios of World Championship Wrestling, this is WCW Saturday Night. And here's your host, Jim Ross.
Up to you, Big Jim Ross.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone to a very special edition. This is WCW Saturday Night, and we're happy you're a part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see Flying Brian defend the light heavyweight championship of the world on this broadcast. Also, we'll be taking a look at the United States heavyweight champion, Ravishing Rick Rude. We'll have tag team competition as the team of Cactus Jack and Diamond Dallas Page will be challenged by the fabulous Freebirds. Plus, we've got a very special 2 out of 3 fall main event, some in-depth interviews, and a lot of fun for you. But right now, I'd like to introduce the man that will be my guest co-host this week on our first edition of WCW Saturday Night. Please welcome Jesse the Body Ventura. Jess, welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here. I know that next weekend you will join Tony Schiavone on WCW Worldwide Wrestling, nationwide in syndication, but we're happy to have you with us here this week.
Well, I'm happy to be here. WCW is the wrestling of the future, and Jesse the Body Ventura will be going with Tony Schiavone on WCW Worldwide Wrestling all over the world, which is where I belong.
Just in this broadcast, a special feature of WCW Saturday Night will be 2 out of 3 fall main events. This week, it will be for the television championship of the world, the former champion, the Z-Man, challenging of the Dangerous Alliance, Stunning Steve Austin.
Well, 2 out of 3 falls is very unique in wrestling, because what it allows you to do, Jim Ross, it allows you one mistake. You can get beat and still come back and win the match.
I know that neither man hope they make a mistake. Well, let's hear some pre-recorded comments made earlier today from the Z-Man and from Stunning Steve Austin.
It's a Z-Man coming at you right here on WCW Saturday Night. Tonight, I've got the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm not going to let it go by me. Steve Austin put the belt on the line, the World Television title belt on the line for 2 out of 3 falls. That means you can goof up only once. Steve Austin, I've had that belt around my waist, and I've been on a roll. I've been in that gym, I've been training. The tailor-made man's gone down. The Hammer Valentine's gone down at my hands. And next is you, Steve Austin. Paulie, stay out of my business, or I'll knock your face off.
It's the 20th anniversary of World Championship Wrestling right here on TBS. And who better to be in the main event on the debut of WCW Saturday Night than the best wrestler on television today, the world's TV champion, Stunning Steve Austin.
And you know, Paulie, because I'm such a generous guy, I'm going to give the Z-Man not 1, but 2 out of 3 falls for the World Television title. But to tell you the truth, Paul,
Tell me.
I don't think he's man enough.
Just in a 2 out of 3 fall main event, who has the advantage, the champion or the challenger?
Well, I think definitely the champion always has the advantage, regardless if it's 1 fall or 2 out of 3. The champ has the advantage because you simply gotta beat the champ.
Fans, that match is coming up later in the broadcast, and when we come back, we'll see the light heavyweight champion of the world, Flying Brian, after this timeout. Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. In just a few moments, we'll return to the arena to see Flying Brian defend the light heavyweight championship of the world against Brad Armstrong. But, Jess, you and I were at ringside at Super Brawl 2 when Flying Brian regained that championship against Jushin Thunder Liger, and it was a phenomenal matchup.
It quite possibly is the greatest match that I ever witnessed in my life, was Flying Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger in that match in Super Brawl. Pillman won it, but I'll tell you this, Jim Ross, I don't think we've heard the last of Jushin Thunder Liger here in WCW.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, and so many great light heavyweights in WCW right now, but what we'd like to do at this time is take you back to Super Brawl 2. It was on Saturday, February 29th, when Flying Brian regained the light heavyweight championship of the world in a scintillating match with Jushin Thunder Liger. Let's go back to the closing moments of that championship encounter. Going for it all, front face lock, superplex, oh!
Whoa.
sending shockwaves up his spine. That'll be all done. Not. No, it's not. This kid from Cincinnati will not quit.
Liger going to the top now. Again, high-risk maneuver.
Oh, Pillman moved. Liger hit his head on the canvas. Flying Brian using his legs, bridging back, and he got it. He got it. Obviously a great victory for Flying Brian at Super Brawl. As I said, a lot of great athletes currently competing in WCW in the light heavyweight division. Richard Morton, Johnny B. Bad, Firebreaker Chip. We're going to see Brett Armstrong challenge Flying Brian momentarily, but what are some of the characteristics the fans can look forward to in a light heavyweight encounter as we're about to see?
Well, I'll tell you what, I am so happy to see the light heavyweight division back, Jim Ross, in WCW wrestling, because you're going to see smaller guys with unbelievable aerial tactics in the light heavyweight division. These guys get to go at each other fast and furious without the disadvantage of, say, giving up 150 pounds to a full heavyweight.
I think that one of the characteristics of a light heavyweight matchup is that they're very, very offensive-minded. We see them going for the pins sometimes very early in the contest.
Oh, absolutely, and you know, the different cradle moves, and as again, off the turnbuckles, off the ropes, there's nothing sacred in a light heavyweight bout.
Brad Armstrong has been a great friend of Flying Brian. As a matter of fact, they've even been tag team partners. How will that affect this matchup we're about to see?
Well, I'll tell you something. You can be friends outside the ring, but you can't be friends in the ring. So regardless of their friendship, when they get in here, that's when the money's on the line, Jim Ross. That's when the title's on the line. And there is no friendship at that point in wrestling. So you're going to see Armstrong go after Flying Brian with everything.
Fans, let's go to the arena in this championship event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is set for one fall. Introducing first, from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 226 pounds, the light heavyweight champion of the world, Flying Brian. His opponent from Marietta, Georgia, 234 pounds, Brad Armstrong.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is for the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. Flying Brian to defend against Brad Armstrong. Should be a very scientific and a very fast-moving match, Jesse the Body.
That's right, Jim Ross. It'll be scientific, but at some point in the bout, I'll predict they're going to shake hands right now. But at some point in the bout, one of them's going to cheap shot the other one. Guaranteed.
Fans, we're happy you're with us on our very first broadcast of WCW Saturday Night. And that big event in the Omni comes your way 1 week from tomorrow. More on that in the hour. As Flying Brian and Armstrong exchanging wrist locks.
Well, what you got here is a feeling out process. It's that simple. Now they're going to speed it up a little bit right here. Big shoulder tackle there by the champion, Flying Brian.
Armstrong told me he was going to try to mat wrestle Pillman and ground him if possible. Pillman a good modified arm drag takedown there into a hammerlock.
Well, it's a good move by Armstrong, you know, if he can take away the aerial tactics of Flying Brian Pillman, the light heavyweight champion of the world, he stands a good chance to win it. But if he decides to get involved in an aerial match, then the advantage definitely swings towards the champion, Flying Brian.
Good drop toe hold by Brad Armstrong. He's used that move very, very expertly in the last couple of weeks here on TBS. And it was Flying Brian that told us the week of Super Brawl 2 that he would ground Jushin Thunder Liger and Matt wrestle him to take him out of his game plan. That same strategy very applicable here for Brad Armstrong. Irish whips him in, and Flying Brian able to execute that aerial maneuver, drop kick right in the face, and an arm drag takeover.
And just an excellent move there by the champion, Flying Brian Pillman, on the challenger, Brad Armstrong. You know, I'm really fired up, Jim Ross, to see the light heavyweight division coming back so strong in the world of wrestling here in WCW, because it gives the smaller man much bigger goals in the wrestling community.
Very valid point. And the light heavyweight division with athletes like Johnny B. Bad, Richard Morton, and many others, including Jushin Thunder Liger, very dynamic. And Flying Brian right there tried to go for a flying maneuver, but Armstrong there too quick for it, and now Armstrong taking over.
Absolutely, and Pillman also, those ropes get slippery. Anytime you go up and use those ropes, you run the risk of slipping off those ropes and hurting yourself rather than your opponent.
Flying Brian has been equated to like a run-and-shoot football team. The way you beat them is you keep the ball out of their hands and control the tempo here. Phenomenal crowd here for our first edition of WCW Saturday Night. They're jammed in here.
They're jammed in here and they're still coming. Whoa, what a maneuver right there.
Great counter move by Flying Brian. Takes him up and over. Pinning predicament, and he got 2.5. And this time Pillman uses a drop toe hold. Still to come in the broadcast. The Fabulous Freebirds take on Cactus Jack and Diamond Dallas Page. The United States Heavyweight Champion Ravishing Rick Rude is here. And Jesse the Body and I will be talking to Ron Simmons also a little bit later in the broadcast. Near fall situation as Armstrong able to bridge.
Good snap mare by the champ, Brian Pillman. And almost a down on the mat, one knee abdominal stretch right there. Interesting maneuver. Usually wrestlers do that in the standing position, but Pillman applying it down on the mat.
We saw this move for the first time back at Super Brawl 2 when he used it against Jushin Thunder Liger.
So a little variation we're seeing right here to the normal wrestling move.
Referee Mike Atkins assigned this contest. Again, if you just joined it, it is for the WCW World's Light Heavyweight Championship.
And so far it's been all scientific, but at some point one of them's going to rough the other one up because the will to win's going to take over.
Great agility by Flying Brian. Went for a hip lock, but it was countered. Good move there by Armstrong. Again going for the drop toe hold, and again getting the arm bar. He's got the high-flying champion grounded here.
And that's exactly what Armstrong needs to do, is keep Pillman down on the mat. Take away the aerial tactics and you'll take away the title.
Armstrong has about a 10-pound weight advantage. Could that be a factor, Jess?
I don't think so, Jim Ross. I don't think so at this level. You know, they can't be over 235, and these guys are used to taking it. Whoa! And Pillman misses there, and look at this. Armstrong going back with his version of the down on the mat abdominal stretch. But getting back to the weight advantage, I don't think so, because these guys are capable of taking on 300-pounders. They're very used to taking on 300-pounders. So a 10-pound weight advantage, I don't believe is going to make any difference.
A submission move here being executed by the challenger, Brad Armstrong. Another look at this phenomenal crowd on hand here, and we're glad you're with us at home for WCW Saturday Night. Beginning a new tradition here on TBS. Good move there, and Armstrong working on the lower back now, it would seem, of Flying Brian, and Armstrong will climb the ladder and take a chance. Flying Brian able to drop kick. He got him.
He didn't catch him full with that drop kick, but he caught him enough to throw him off the rope.
Armstrong hitting shoulder fake, but couldn't avoid the champion. Cross body right off the apron by Flying Brian, the light heavyweight champion of the world now. Let's see if he can capitalize on it.
Now, I disagree with that. He's supposed to be a scientific wrestler. What's he doing carrying the match to outside the ring?
As you said, it's a very over for a drop kick. Very emotional situation as these men compete for the light heavyweight championship. I'd say right now, Pillman is a little worse for wear.
Oh.
Got him a crucifix there. He's got a near fall, and he got two. Pillman off one count away from a victory and a tremendous chop.
I told you they'd rough it up, Jim Ross. I told you. Wow, two back-to-back big chops by Pillman.
Aggressive, yet legal maneuvers. And this time it's a power slam. Armstrong lateral press, may have hesitated just a second too long as Pillman able to get his shoulder up before three.
Oh, it looks like he's trying to set him up for a superplex here.
Up on the second rope, front face lock. He's got it cinched in. Pillman's trying to fight his way out. There's a headbutt and another headbutt. Now Armstrong is down. Flying Brian up on the top turnbuckle. Armstrong is dazed, crossbody, but Armstrong rolled through. He may have it. 1, 2 and a half. More than that. Less than a half away from a new champion of the world being crowned.
Absolutely. Armstrong used Pillman's momentum excellent there and allowed him just to roll right over and get the pinning position.
Spinning martial arts kick by the champion. He's going for a lateral press, but Armstrong's still too strong. Very, very competitive situation here. Just like it will be 1 week from tomorrow in Atlanta's Omni. Tony Schiavone, Magnum Tea, and Missy Hyatt. We'll talk more about that tomorrow in the main event on that big 90-minute special tomorrow at 6:05 Eastern. Flying Brian now up on top. Taking another chance. Oh, it didn't pay off. It did not pay off. And now Armstrong has the opportunity that he's waited for. Side Russian leg sweep. He's got it beat here. That's Armstrong's move.
The only problem is he needs to get him to the middle of the ring.
Pillman's foot lying underneath that bottom rope, and that is what saved him there.
Absolutely. If Armstrong would have drug him to the center of the ring, he'd have won the title. He made a bad mistake right there.
And Armstrong walked right into Eric Pillman. Pillman with a high-risk move. He's going to win it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is still light heavyweight champion of the world, Flying Brian.
Hard luck for Brad Armstrong. He caught his move, the side Russian leg sweep, but Pillman's foot was under the rope.
There's the move right there. Pillman off the top rope with a clothesline. Unbelievable balance. Catches Armstrong flush with it. Hooks the leg 1, 2, and 3 and successfully defends his title.
And they shook hands after the match. What great display of sportsmanship and fans. When we come back, we'll talk to Ron Simmons on WCW Saturday Night.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. In just a few moments, Jesse the Body Ventura and I will be speaking with Ron Simmons. But I know that Ron Simmons has not only amassed a phenomenal reputation as a great athlete, he's also a wonderful humanitarian. Spends a lot of his free time working with all sorts of youth groups. And Jess, what is your assessment of Ron Simmons, the athlete?
Well, Ron Simmons is a phenomenal athlete. Great career at Florida State. As a top football player, got his jersey retired there. What bigger honor can you get? But Ron Simmons also proved he's a tough guy, because wrestling's a lot tougher than football, because there ain't no pads in wrestling. There's plenty of pads in football.
Well, I want to, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring Ron out, I certainly want you to take a close look at Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons out of the ring has a very big heart. I think you'll know what I mean after you see this.
One of WCW's brightest young superstars is Georgia native Ron Simmons. Simmons came to World Championship Wrestling after a very impressive career on the gridiron. His exploits at Florida State University for Coach Bobby Bowden are legendary.
Every Seminole at this moment is praying and pulling for Ron Simmons.
Simmons from Warner Robins, Georgia also spends a good deal of time working with young people. The powerful WCW superstar has had no problem in keeping the attention of his young audiences.
There are things to stay away from, and one of them, I can tell you, is drugs.
Ron's young fans were even treated to a bus ride to Atlanta's Omni for a World Championship Wrestling event, compliments of their hero. Ron Simmons' heart and physical ability are both of massive proportions. This WCW standout is a threat to hold any title he covets as he continues to have one reoccurring dream, to become the WCW World's Heavyweight Champion.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him out. Please welcome Ron Simmons to WCW Saturday Night. Big Ron Simmons, very popular in WCW. Fans young and old alike. Ron, welcome to the program. Thank you for being with us. Ron Simmons, great athlete, and I think fans, that video feature that we saw certainly is indicative of the attitude of this great man that knows what it's like to fight from the bottom up. And we've got a lot of things to talk to Ron about, and Ron, quite obviously, by the looks of that feature, you spend a lot of time with youth groups and working with kids. What does it mean to you to be a positive role model?
Well, I think it's very important not only for myself to be a very positive role model, but I think as well for other athletes and people in general. I think for one, the most problem is that a lot of the kids nowadays, they immortalize the athletes so much to where when something happens, you know, they're let down. They find out that they're human, you know, and I think it's important that the parents instill in them that we're human just like they are. Like the Magic Johnson case, when that happened, everybody was so hurt. I think they'll find out that they got heroes right in their community if they will look and see that life is not all it's cut out to be sometimes, you know. So if they look in their community, they'll see heroes right within there.
I know, Ron, that you have one common message, and that's to tell these youngsters to stay in school.
Oh, by all means, you know. I was fortunate enough, you know, to go through high school. I didn't have, you know, the best financial background in the world, but, you know, I was fortunate enough through athletics to go to college, you know, and get out of college, thank God, you know, and to go on to further my education, you know. But in a lot of cases, that's not always the same, you know. So takes what's given to you, and that's high school, stay in there and finish.
Ron, the biggest news in WCW right now, and I'm sure Jesse the Body Ventura will concur on this, is the world's heavyweight champion, the Stinger. He's got a big problem right now with Big Van Vader. You were at Super Brawl. What's your opinion of Sting as the new WCW World's Champion?
Well, I'm sure the people will agree Sting will be a great champion, you know. I mean, you can't take nothing away from him, Jim. He worked through the ranks just like everyone else, and he's deserving to have it now. You know, Van Vader will give him his problems, and myself, you know, hopefully down the line, he and I are friends, and we talk about matches all the time. But hey, if the opportunity presents itself with me and Sting, then so be it, you know.
Let me ask you something, Ron. To my knowledge, is there a key motivation to the fact that WCW has never had a black world champion?
Oh, by all means, there's motivation there, you know? Hey, I mean, let's just stop and be real for a moment, all right? Now, I'm a black man, and, you know, life throughout history hasn't proven to have been the best for us in this country. Let's be for real, all right? So for me to be a positive role model, I can't think of anything more positive than to be the first black man to wear that belt.
I'll tell you something, and we concur with those remarks. Ron, to earn that opportunity, you've got to work your way up. And it's inevitable that somewhere along the way, you may have to wrestle Jesse the Body Ventura's favorite wrestler, Ravishing Rick Rude. Your thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Well, hey, taking nothing away from Ravishing Rick Rude, all right? I've seen him in singles competition, you know, I've seen him in tag scene situation. Hey, the man is a good wrestler. But one thing for sure that he's had in his corner, and that's been Paul Lee Dangerously, which has given him the advantage, you know, in a lot of situations. That man needs to be contained, and I'm sure when that opportunity presents itself with myself and Ravishing Rick Rude, hey, if it's one-on-one without him in the corner, we can see a different story.
I disagree. I think Ravishing Rick Rude's tremendous. This guy's gonna have his hands full if he steps in with Ravishing Rick Rude. But you know, there's one thing I gotta state to you, Ron Simmons. You played football at Florida State under Bobby Bowden.
Right.
Let's tell the truth now. It's Gene Deckeroff that runs that team, not Bobby Bowden. It's my buddy Gene Deckeroff.
Well, one thing for sure, if you were running the team, Jesse, we would have did a lot of talking and probably won no game.
You know, Jim Ross, it's a good thing that I'm retired and I'm a movie star.
Well, I know that Ravishing Rick Rude will be, he's got that Rude, you think the Rude Awakening can offset the power of this man?
I think the Rude Awakening can beat anybody if Rude gets the proper way to apply it. If he hooks it in and gets it, there is nobody in WCW that's going to get up from the Rude Awakening.
Well, let me ask you this then, Jesse. Have you spent much time in the streets? Have you ever heard of a sidewalk slam? If I get him up in the air right here, I can guarantee you he'll be in for a rude awakening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, I guess that about concludes our interview. Ron, I want to thank you for spending the time with us that you have. And I got to ask you, on behalf of Jesse the Body Ventura, Ron, just how would you handle Ravishing Rick Rude?
Handle Ravishing Rick Rude? Well, Jim, let me put it to you this way. It's kind of hard for me to tell you right now. I think I'd just rather show you if I...
He's going to show us.
He's going to show you?
He's going to show you how he can handle Ravishing Rick Rude, Jess. I don't have a problem believing that he can do it. Perhaps he wants you to carry this message back to your buddy, Ravishing Rick Rude. There you see it, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks good.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. In just a few moments, we'll see the fabulous Freebirds take on Cactus Jack and Diamond Dallas Page from the arena. And I know that the Freebirds have one thing on their mind these days. That's the United States Tag Titles. They'll get their opportunity right here next week.
That's right. They'll face Greg Valentine and the Tailor-Made Man, and that's a very good team because you got Valentine, who provides tremendous power, and the Tailor-Made Man. There's hardly a better mechanical wrestler in the world today.
And that matchup next week will also be for 2 out of 3 falls. But right now, let's go to the arena in this tag team event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following tag team event, it is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing 310 pounds, Cactus Jack. His tag team partner, from the Diamond Line, weighing 249 pounds, Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page and Cactus Jack, a new version of wrestling's Odd Couple.
Absolutely. I mean, who would ever think these two would be a tag team? A glamour boy and what do you call Cactus?
A maniac.
Oh, let's get it! And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents from Backstreet USA in Atlanta, Georgia, the greatest rock and roll band of all time, the fabulous Freebirds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Freebirds certainly have their sights set on the United States Tag Team Championship. And right here next week on WCW Saturday Night, in a 2 out of 3 fall matchup, they will challenge the champions, Greg the Hammer Valentine and the Tailor-Made Man.
And they just got jumped. They're too busy playing to the crowd, Jim Ross. They better keep an eye on their opponents instead of worrying about shaking their hips at the pretty girls.
Hayes and Garvin, a veteran team now, trying to regroup as Cactus Jack knocks Jimmy Jam outside the ring, and they're fighting outside. It's Hayes and Garvin on the inside, or Hayes and Page, excuse me.
Well, you know that Cactus Jack is going to try to get into the floor because that's where he likes to wrestle the best. Now a double team by the Freebirds on Diamond Dallas Page. Whoa! He comes down hard on that tailbone.
The Freebirds certainly have gained in popularity, but they have not changed their style. They'll still take a shortcut, and they love to use the DDT. They say that they're only a DDT away from their next championship as Page gets drop kicked right outside the ring.
Well, they're gearing up for next week when they get their shot at the U.S. Tag Team titles currently held by the Tailor-Made Man and a good friend of mine, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Cactus Jack in his domain out here, as Jesse the Body Ventura said. Cactus very comfortable on the outside of the ring. There's the backbreaker. Now beware of the bizarre moves of this man. He's on the apron, and Michael Hayes is right behind him. Oh, Hayes got him with a left and hit him right in the mouth.
And I'll tell you what, Jimmy Jam better thank his partner on that one because Cactus was getting ready to lower the boom on him.
Hayes and Garvin are former U.S. Tag Champions and World Tag Team Champions, a great veteran team. They make the exchange, and now Hayes is in. Great crowd, as we mentioned. There you can see all the way up to the top of the building. Fans jammed in here for this first broadcast of WCW Saturday Night. And now DDP, the man that has been censored by K. Allen Fry in their wrestling.
Yeah, and I got a few comments on that. I got a few comments on that. Just where does K. Allen Fry get off thinking he can censor anybody in America?
I think his point is that Page is not an official spokesperson. I don't think he's trying to take away his First Amendment rights.
You don't. That's what I call it.
Shoulder block by Garvin. Caught from behind by Cactus Jack. And now Cactus Jack, 303 from Truth or Consequences. Along with Diamond Dallas Page working on the neck of Jimmy Jam Garvin. Drops a leg on the back of the head. Cactus is not going to win any Best Dressed awards, but that's not the name of the game.
Whoa!
Garvin able to avoid the full force of that one. cage. Russian leg sweep there. Here comes Cactus Jack in. Michael Hayes now may have the moment he wants. He's got it hooked up. There it is, the DDT.
I believe this one's over.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your winners, the greatest rock and roll band of all time, the fabulous Freebirds.
Well, they have one thing in their mind. That's next week's U.S. title matchup.
Absolutely. There you see the classic double team. Why the referee's not stepping in to do something about that, I don't know. And there's Michael P.S. Hayes hooking the DDT, driving Dallas Page's head into the mat, gets the cover, gets the win.
Fans, when we come back, we'll take a look at the Ricky Steamboat ravishing Rick Rude feud, and we'll see the U.S. champion in action right after this timeout.
Thanks for being with us, everyone, here on WCW Saturday Night. In just a few moments, we'll return to the arena to see the United States heavyweight champion ravishing Rick Rude in action. But before we do, Jess, we're going to show the fans a very special video package. The feud between Rude and Steamboat has escalated to magnificent proportions.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened. It's got very lethal. You know, ravishing Rick Rude has not done anything to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to warrant what Steamboat tried to do to him. Steamboat is now taking it personal, Ross. And one thing you do as a professional, you never take anything personal. It's business. And Steamboat is getting personal. He tried to end Rude's career.
Well, the fans that have not seen that piece of videotape would like to show you exactly what has transpired involving Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and ravishing Rick Rude. First of all, we'll take you back to Super Brawl 2 and show you how Rude retained the championship, and then we'll show you how the Dragon gained a measure of revenge.
When Ricky the Dragon Steamboat challenged ravishing Rick Rude for the U.S. Heavyweight Championship at Super Brawl 2, many fans thought Steamboat would unseat Rude, win the title, and end their violent feud. However, the resourcefulness of the Dangerous Alliance and Rude's own athletic ability prevented the Dragon from realizing his dream.
Rude doesn't know where he's at.
Steamboat's got it going his way. Paulie dangerously.
He should cover him. He should cover him. Why is he going up again? He should cover him.
Steamboat. Wait a minute. Hey.
What?
What's he doing? With a telephone. The ninja hitting with a phone. Rude's gonna get the cover.
Rude wins it.
Even though a rematch for Rude's U.S. heavyweight title had been signed, Steamboat wanted to face any member of the Dangerous Alliance and agreed to meet Arn Anderson. Anderson, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, had previously collided with the Dragon in a series of tag team title bouts. In this magnificent one-on-one bout, Steamboat had a great deal of emotion as he attempted to extract a measure of revenge from the hated Dangerous Alliance.
Wait a minute. Here comes Rude. He's got a chair. The referee's trying to get the chair, and he does. Oh, the ref went back in the corner. Rude now. Hammering away on the man that wants his title. Rude, that Steamboat's belt is got it around his throat. He's gonna try to Rude away with him with that belt. And Steamboat, up and over, great agility. Oh, he caught him in the throat. Steamboat caught him in the throat with a karate thrust. Rude gasping for air. And now Steamboat takes it a turn. Steamboat trying to choke the life out of the United States champion. Steamboat getting a measure of revenge. This crowd is standing, and rightfully so. What a matchup. Rude up and over. He's being hung by the Dragon.
Ravishing Rick Rude, Paulie Dangerously, and the entire Dangerous Alliance have sworn to end Steamboat's career after this volatile incident. However, the Dragon has only one thing on his mind: to become the next U.S. heavyweight champion.
The following contest, it is set for one fall. officer of the Dangerous Alliance, Paul E. Dangerously. He's from Cummingsdale, Minnesota. He weighs 254 pounds. And he is the United States heavyweight champion. Ravishing Rick Rude. Contact USA.
I guess you like this part of the match, don't you?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, without a doubt, he's my favorite wrestler, Jim Ross.
Is for all you fat, out of shape, country bumpkin cowards. Keep the noise down while I take my robe off and show you what a real sexy man is supposed to look like. Hit the music.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, since you saw that videotape, you know exactly Steamboat got a small measure of revenge. But Jesse the Body Ventura, Ravishing Rick Rude, and the Dangerous Alliance have struck again, and Steamboat has been badly hurt.
That's right, but Steamboat deserved it. The man portrays himself as a hero, and I'm speaking of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, yet he cold cocks and hits a lady.
He did that out of emotion. First of all, he was wrong in striking a woman, but she was in the ring. She put herself in a man's place. He felt very, very badly after what he did. He did it out of emotion.
Wait a minute, I can't believe how sexist you are, Jim Ross.
Well, I don't consider myself sexist at all.
She put herself in a man's place in the ring?
She got very physical with Steamboat, but the thing about it...
Hey, I'd love to have her get physical with me.
I'm sure that you would, but the bottom line is that Steamboat now is walking around with a cracked cheekbone and a broken nose thanks to Ravishing Rick Rude.
Well, he'll know better next time, won't he?
Well, the next time will be for the United States Heavyweight Championship, and that's one match that I certainly would love to see. Rude, that front face lock. He is a consummate athlete. He makes very few mistakes. And very, very arrogant. Or perhaps you would say self-confident.
We better watch out. There's women out there going to start fainting any second. I love Rick Rude because he reminds me of me. I mean, if I could have a clone who I could have created after myself in the world of pro wrestling, here looking at him right in the ring right now.
And here comes the most devastating maneuver in WCW. He snaps the neck.
A rude awakening.
It is devastating. Rude and Steamboat on a collision course.
Now notice how gently he covers the guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, the United States Heavyweight Champion, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude with the rude awakening. Now, as I said, look at how nice. He could punish the guy. Instead, he just gently lays his head on him for the pin.
Yeah, real nice guy. And fans, we'll be back. WCW Saturday Night continues after this. Still to come on WCW Saturday Night, our 2 out of 3 fall feature for the television championship. But momentarily, we'll be going to Eric Bischoff and the WCW Magazine.
And the big story in the WCW Magazine, of course, is Sting will be defending against Big Van Vader, a 200-pound weight difference. Sting is in trouble. His championship already on the line.
Eric is going to focus on that situation. We'll hear comments from Sting and from Big Van Vader. Let's go to Eric Bischoff and WCW Magazine.
Thanks, Jim. And this is the WCW Magazine for Saturday, April 4th, 1992. Well, there can be no doubt that Sting is feeling the pressure that being the WCW Heavyweight Champion of the world creates. And at 450 pounds, Van Vader is adding a whole new dimension to the word awesome. Take a look at this footage, and then we'll hear from Van Vader and the WCW World's Heavyweight Champion.
The winner of the match is Sting!
Here comes Big Van Vader! Big Van Vader to the ring! Vader with that steel chair! But Sting with the advantage here! Irish whip! And the Stinger fires on the
flinch. Sting now up on top. And Vader power slammed. Oh my God. 445. Got the champion in midair. He power slammed him. And now the Vader bomb. Big Van Vader's trying to bring Sting's back.
Sting, look into the eyes of the next heavyweight champion of the world. The time is now. Reality has become the present, and the final lesson of the pain game has begun because Vader has the PhD in pain.
And you're looking at the next world's heavyweight champion, Sting. Say it to yourself, world's champion.
So Big Van Vader's got a PhD in pain. Well, I don't know where you went to school to learn about pain, and I don't know where you get off telling me you're going to take me to school. Because, see, I've been around here World Championship Wrestling a lot longer than you have, pal. World Championship Wrestling happens to be probably the best school of pain. So don't tell me about pain. Just show up. Maybe I'll make you understand what pain's all about.
Well, with the type of threat that Van Vader poses for Sting in the WCW World's Heavyweight title, I'm sure that at times Sting has some very lonely moments at the top. But there's an athlete headed for WCW from Japan that has been watching the developments between Sting and Van Vader. And I'm sure that Muta would be there for Sting anytime or any place a need would arise. Now, Muta and Sting are certainly no strangers to each other, and they would undoubtedly represent one of the most dynamic tag team combinations in the sport, should the need arise. We'll take a closer look at Muta on tomorrow's edition of WCW Magazine on the main event. This just in. The WCW Board of Directors are currently reviewing videotape involving a vicious attack on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat by Ravishing Rick Rude and the Dangerous Alliance. Now, details are still somewhat sketchy at this point, but we do have this videotape. Take a look.
Oh, jeez! He slapped Medusa right in the face. And he's pretty upset about it himself here. We've got bodies coming in everywhere now, and it's the Dangerous Alliance. They're circling the wagons. He's surrounded on every side. He better get out of there. Oh, my goodness. I might have broken his neck. What are they doing? I don't know if we can get some security, but they are stomping the back of his head. They are stomping the back of his head into the concrete.
Well, obviously, the war between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ravishing Rick Rude has escalated to frightening proportions. We'll follow up on this story and try to have more for you on tomorrow's main event. Well, the war of words continues between WCW Executive Vice President K. Allen Fry and WCW wrestler Diamond Dallas Page. Now, as many of you know, Page was barred by K. Allen Fry from participating in any on-camera interviews relating to WCW policy. But on last week's WCW broadcast, Diamond Dallas Page tried, unsuccessfully, to steal some airtime.
Steve Austin and Steve...
Wait a minute. Listen, I got something I gotta say right here, and I want to talk to K. Allen.
Wait a minute. It is my understanding that you were barred from doing any interviews. You're censored.
I'm barred from doing interviews with policies for the WCW that have to do with anything else but Diamond Dallas Page. But who does K. Allen Fry think he is to ban Diamond Dallas Page? Where does he get off? Doesn't he heard the Constitution, the First Amendment? He's supposed to be a lawyer. The bottom line is, where did he get his law degree from? University of Moscow? Good God! Give me a break. Who do you represent, the KGB? I got something to say, and I'll say exactly... You're not supposed to be out here. Hey, wait a minute. I know that I cannot speak.
Well, it's my understanding that K. Allen Fry will have further statements on his situation next week on WCW. Finally, before we leave you, this week's fan line question comes from Shannon Barber from New York, who wants to know, Rick Rude, you say some pretty negative things about people from New York, but your manager, Paul E. Dangerously, is from New York. How does he feel about your comments?
A question I would expect from an inner city sweat hog, Shannon, a.k.a. New Yorkers. Well, the bottom line with Paul E. is money. And as long as the money keeps rolling in, I keep doing my thing, and we continue to win. Mwah.
And a reminder that you could be the first to read about Wrestle War 92. It happens in the new edition of WCW Magazine that hits your local newsstands nationwide this week. For the WCW Magazine, I'm Eric Bischoff. The action continues.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCW Saturday Night. Momentarily, we'll return to the ring here in the studio to see the television championship on the line. 2 out of 3 falls. You said earlier the champion had the advantage. Tell us why.
Well, because first of all, Stunning Steve is bigger, he's stronger, and he is also the champion. It's that simple.
A regular feature of WCW Saturday Night, 2 out of 3 fall main events. This will be our first one. Let's go back up to ring announcer Gary Michael Capetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is for the WCW World Television Championship. It is set for the best 2 of 3 falls with TV time remaining. And there will be a 1-minute rest period between falls. Introducing first the challenger from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing 236 pounds, the Z-Man.
Great ovation for the Z-Man here in the studio as he will challenge for the television championship of the world. He knows what it's like to carry that gold. Let's go back up now to Gary Michael Capetta.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, representing the Dangerous Alliance and accompanied by the Chief Executive Officer of the Dangerous Alliance, Paul E. Dangerously, from Hollywood, California, weighing 252 pounds, the WCW World Television Champion, Stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve Austin, perhaps the greatest television champion ever in WCW.
You know what I find interesting, Jim Ross, is the people boo Paulie Dangerously. Why? What is the problem with having a manager handle your career? I have a manager who handles my career.
Barry Bloom doesn't conduct himself like Paulie Dangerously, thank goodness.
I think that he does many, many times. You ever been to lunch with him?
No, I can't say as I have. I have been to lunch with Paulie Dangerously a few times, and I paid every time that I can recall.
That's because he don't like you, because he buys for me, I'll tell you that.
Collar and elbow tie-up. It will be Austin with a 16-pound weight advantage here, and the Z-Man, in my estimation, will have to use his quickness and his agility in this contest.
Absolutely, he'll have to. Austin with the size and strength advantage, but the Z-Man extremely quick, and what he needs to do is get Austin off his feet and down to the mat.
Good shoulder lock by the Z-Man. Gained a great deal of momentum coming off the ropes. Fans, don't forget to join Tony Schiavone, Magnum TA, and Missy Hyatt tomorrow here on TBS. Special 90-minute version of the main event starts at 6:05 Eastern Time. Side headlock by Austin, controlling the action right now.
And that's what Stunning Steve needs to do right there, is use that weight advantage and tire out the Z-Man.
Z-Man set a little quick there, and Austin took advantage of it. Sent it to the ropes on the left side of the ring as they wrestle from left to right in that instance. Has both arms hooked, pinning predicament, and a near fall. Z-Man single leg pickup. Again going for the cover.
He's going after these falls much, much too quick. He hasn't wore Steve Austin down at all yet. There's no way the guy's gonna get a pinfall that easy. You gotta wear your opponent down more. You gotta get him disoriented. You gotta hurt him.
Good counter by Austin. Using the belly-to-back suplex, and now he'll go for the cover. And he got a couple out of that one.
But the unique thing, like we said at the top of the hour, Jim Ross, is this is 2 out of 3 falls. So, as I stated, you can make a mistake, you can lose a fall. But the first fall is very, very important, because if you win that first fall, well then the pressure's on the opponent totally.
Great camera shot. Look inside the ring there for a moment as Austin has the reverse chin lock, using his size advantage here.
And totally legal. You can see it's on the chin. It's not twisted underneath to make it a chokehold, although you can do it very easily.
Austin using the hair to take Z-Man down.
And I see nothing wrong with that. He did that very well. He hid it from the referee. The referee's asking him, but the referee cannot call what he does not see. It's that simple.
Just as in any other sport, you've got to see it to be able to call it.
That's right. You know, the referee may think that he did it. He may have the fans yelling that he did it, but if he doesn't visually see it, if he's a good referee, he cannot call it.
You know, Jess, this situation with Sting and Big Van Vader has certainly escalated, and I certainly believe that Vader, the next time he meets Sting, could, I don't want to say easily, but he could certainly walk away with the World's Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, absolutely. Sting is facing the challenge of his life because he's giving up almost 200 pounds of body weight.
Crossbody by Z-Man. He may have it. High impact move came off the ropes there. Great quickness and agility being displayed by the Z-Man.
Now what Stunning Steve needs to do here is get out of the ring. He needs to get to the floor and talk to Paulie dangerously, but he did a good move there, hooked the rope. Z-Man going for a second drop kick, misses it. Stunning Steve with the advantage again.
Stunning Steve creating the turnover there, so to speak. Irish whip to the far side, caught him with the elbow in the chest. We're certainly eagerly anticipating Wrestle War 92. That'll be exclusively on pay-per-view. Good gut wrench there on Sunday, May 17th from Jacksonville, Florida, featuring the War Games. We'll be talking more about that in the upcoming weeks.
And there's my man, Paulie, the best manager in WCW, without a doubt, in my opinion.
I would reluctantly agree with that, as the Z-Man comes to the right hands.
Those are closed fists. Why is the referee not stepping in? There's the point of the boot. Those are both illegal, and the referee's sitting back and doing nothing about it.
Going for the lateral press. Couldn't quite negotiate the 3 count there, as Austin too strong in the upper body thus far. Z-Man's got him rolled up in a pretty predicament. Dangerously has the referee distracted.
Whoa, and a reversal.
Austin's got it reversed. He's also got the tights.
He got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your winner of the first fall, Stunning Steve Austin.
Well, fans, Stunning Steve Austin has won the first fall, and we'll be back with a second fall right after this timeout. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Z-Man vehement about his tights being pulled in that first fall, and Austin now taking advantage. Once again, dangerously had Z-Man's attention.
Absolutely, and the Z-Man's making a mistake. Why do you think I said Paulie is so valuable, Jim Ross? Because right there, Paulie helped to win that first and important fall for Stunning Steve Austin. Whoa, rams him right into the railing outside the ring. And you know, the Z-Man's looking right now, he could go down 2 straight.
He certainly could. That is a very viable consideration. Again, Z-Man meets the steel. Intensity in this contest, much like it will be in Atlanta's Omni 1 week from tomorrow night in the Omni. What a wrestling card at 7:30.
Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. But ooh, the Z-Man caught Stunning Steve coming off the apron, turned the tables.
Let's see now if Z-Man can widen his advantage here, as Austin made a mistake.
And Z-Man better be careful, because if he gets counted out, the match is over.
You're exactly right.
Austin has the advantage. If I were Steve Austin, I'd keep it outside the ring. Whoa.
Z-Man smashed shoulder first into the ring post. Austin rammed him right into the ring post. And now Austin apparently doesn't want to settle for a count-out victory. Back out to assault Z-Man, whose shoulder may be partially separated. And now Austin going right to work on the arm.
Well, I think Austin made a mistake right there. He's out to hurt Z-Man, not win the match. I believe he could have got a count out right there, Jim Ross, won the match, and gone home with the victor's share of the money as well as the title.
Austin continuing to work on the damaged arm and shoulder of the Z-Man. And Austin found nothing when he went to the corner. Z-Man very quick came out with a drop toe hold.
And there's what Z-Man should have been doing earlier in the bout. Getting Austin down on the mat, take away an extremity, be it an arm, be it a leg, work him over down on that mat, and take away the size advantage.
Fans, I'd like to encourage you to call the wrestling hotline till midnight tonight. It's the Ross Report. We've got some late-breaking information on some dealings within the Dangerous Alliance.
You know, I heard about your hotline, Jim Ross, and I heard that you lie through your teeth on there. Is that true?
Not a chance.
Well, I'm going to call it, and I'm going to find out whether you're an honest man. What do you mean, not a chance? You're telling me here you've never, ever told a fib in your life?
I didn't say that. And good counter by the Z-Man. Again, taking his larger opponent on the canvas. We're seeing that strategy that Jesse the Body Ventura spoke of. Jess, I know you're excited about joining Tony Schiavone next weekend, nationwide on WCW Worldwide Wrestling.
Well, it's been far too long for me, Jim Ross, to get back into the sport I love, which is WCW wrestling, the wrestling of the future. I couldn't be more ecstatic. I mean, the only thing I don't like that bothers me sometimes is I got to work with you and Schiavone, and you guys are kind of social climbers.
Well,
you know what a social climber is?
Go ahead and tell me.
That's a person likes to hang out with somebody to, move up on the echelon type thing. You know what that is. And I realize, if I were you, I'd want to hang out with me too.
Austin now with the armbar, controlling the tempo again on the Z-Man. Austin, in this 2 out of 3 fall contest for the television championship, has won the first fall. We're in the second fall here on the very first edition of WCW Saturday Night. And we hope you're going to enjoy this exciting new format and new presentation for WCW Wrestling. Again, Austin pulled the hair. He had the referee perfectly positioned, if you could call it perfect positioning, to cheat.
The Z-Man's in major trouble here. He's already down a fall already. He's now getting his left arm just worked over by stunning Steve Austin. And dangerously outside the ring, yelling those instructions. I'll tell you, that's a tough combination to beat here. The TV champion, Steve Austin, and that manager, Paul E.
Well, Paul E has certainly been instrumental in ravishing Rick Rude in the eyes of many, retaining the United States Heavyweight Championship against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah, but Steamboat has made it way too personal. There's a difference in athletic competition. You always try to beat an opponent, but you don't try to maim them or end their career. And that's how far Steamboat has taken it now.
Well, I can certainly remember the lashing that Steamboat took in January at the Clash of the Champions. I can remember multiple rude awakenings. I think it's about time that he got some measure of revenge, but I know he wants that U.S. title. He wants it badly. Hey, there's the fast press! The fast press! The legs are hooked, and he's going to win it!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the second fall, evening it all up at 1 fall apiece, the Z-Man!
The Z-Man has evened it up, and we'll be back with a third and deciding fall on WCW Saturday Night right after this. And you've just heard the bell, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Ross and Jesse the Body Ventura back with you on WCW Saturday Night. This matchup for the television championship of the world. It is 2 out of 3 falls. It is 1 fall apiece now. This is the third and deciding fall, and the champion stunning Steve Austin with a knee to the midsection. Austin must quickly reassert himself in this, I think, in the early going of this third fall, Jess.
Absolutely, and I'm very surprised that he got the upper hand, Jim Ross, so quickly, because Z-Man won the last fall, but stunning Steve taking over early here. Beautiful suplex right there.
Austin's left arm obviously bothering him at this point, and that could be a factor as this fall progresses here.
Oh, absolutely. When you're in that ring, you have to rely on both arms and both legs. That's why a wrestler will try to take one of those.
He made a mistake there. Now let's see if Z-Man can capitalize on the error. A high-risk move by stunning Steve Austin that did not pay off.
Dangerously made a mistake there. Austin was close enough to him. He should have pulled him out of the ring. He should have pulled him to the floor.
Z-Man, the flat of the foot right to the midsection of the television champion, stunning Steve Austin.
And Austin in major trouble here. Whoa, clothesline. He could be losing his TV title. This could be, and I would classify it a major upset.
Austin and Zbyszko have been deeply involved with, as you know, fans, with Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes in either a bunkhouse rules match or a double bull rope situation. And he hasn't been defending his television championship as much as he has in the past. That could be a factor. He's been in a lot of tag team situations in the last month or so.
And there is a big difference. When you wrestle tag team, you get chances to rest. If you're a smart tag team, you cut off the ring and you do rapid tags in and out. But now Steve Austin, of course, caught in a single competition here. He can't tag anybody. He can't even tag Paul E.
Fans, next week, Executive Vice President of WCW, K. Allen Fry, will be my special guest host. And we will talk in depth to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat here next week.
Oh, that ought to be good. I can just see you warming up to him, Jim Ross. Huh. Isn't that peculiar? You get the president of WCW. What are you looking for, a raise?
Wouldn't be a bad idea, but that's not why he's going to be here.
Yeah. You might sell that to the people out there. You ain't selling that to me.
Z-Man with the wrist lock. Down to the arm bar, and he is controlling the action now as the television champion in a very precarious position here as Z-Man is successfully mat wrestling Austin. Our main event here next week will also be 2 out of 3 falls. We'll talk more about that United States Tag Team Championship matchup a little bit later. Very unique move here, using his feet for the leverage point.
Well, he's sinking that hammerlock in pretty deep and stunning Steve already with problems with that left arm. He go to the eyes, looked like he went to the eyes. That's one sure way to get out of any problem, go to the eyes. I don't care how big and tough you are, your eyes aren't.
Right hand by Austin found its mark. This match taking its toll on these gentlemen physically because 2 out of 3 falls, certainly a supreme challenge, a throwback to days gone by, but it says wrestling on the marquee, and we're seeing 3 great falls of wrestling here on WCW Saturday Night.
Whoa.
High elevation on the back body drop, and now the Z-Man once again with the advantage. This match, as far as momentum is concerned, has changed on many occasions. Hip lock, takeover.
Good kick out by Stunning Steve, but he got caught right on the chin with that drop kick.
Another drop kick, and now Austin rolling out of bounds, trying to distance himself from the Z-Man. And the Z-Man, oh, he got caught. He got caught in the stun gun. That's Austin's favorite maneuver, the stun gun. He has a leg hook, and Stunning Steve will retain the title.
And with no help from Paul Lee.
The winner of the third and deciding fall, and still World Television Champion, Stunning Steve Austin.
Well, we'll be talking about this one, I'm sure, tomorrow night on AM 750 WSB, and he made a mistake.
There you see Stunning Steve catches the Z-Man, drops him across that top rope, taking all the starch out of the Z-Man. Z-Man have nothing left, hooks the leg, referee in good position, and there you see being helped. Paul Lee makes sure the count of 3 gets there.
Outstanding 2 out of 3 fall matchup. Stunning Steve Austin retaining the television championship. And fans, next week here on WCW Saturday Night, we'll have another 2 out of 3 fall main event. It will be for the United States Tag Team title, the Tailor-Made Man and Greg Valentine to defend right here against the fabulous Freebirds.
You know, Ross, how do you look in sunglasses? Let's take a look at you. Not too good. No, that's going to be a phenomenal match. Again, 2 out of 3 falls. These 2 tag teams, both veteran, know what 2 out of 3 falls is. The fabulous Freebirds against the Tailor-Made Man and Greg Valentine. I'm looking forward to it.
Fans, let's hear comments from both teams.
Yeah. Next week, 2 out of 3 falls. Let me tell you something, Greg Valentine and you, Terry Taylor. The United States titles are going to go around our waist, and then the world titles are next.
Right here next week, 2 out of 3 falls. Freebirds for the U.S. titles? I don't think so. The U.S. champions don't play that.
2 out of 3 fall match definitely puts us at a disadvantage, but we are going to come out on top because we are the champions.
Should be an outstanding matchup. United States Tag Team Championship will be on the line, and next weekend, you'll join Tony Schiavone nationwide for WCW Worldwide Wrestling. It should be a great broadcast next week. I know some big matches are signed for your broadcast.
Well, I'm pumped up about it, Jim Ross. I can't wait because, as I've said it before, WCW is the wrestling of the future, and you're right. You don't look good in shades.
Thank you very much for being with us here this week, Jesse the Body Ventura fans. Don't forget, big 90-minute broadcast of WCW main event tomorrow here on TBS. For Jesse the Body Ventura, Gary Michael